So we are so excited again today to have our favourite person, Tarot by Janine, with her amazing card decks. And I have just noticed her beautiful Black Panther picture behind her. It's incredible, Janine.
Yeah.
Black cats, they're very, very lucky.
Yeah, I do love them. And like I said before, and on other videos, I've told people that Alison Waldy, an incredible artist from the Haida Gwaii, and also a tarot reader, painted it for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's like a sort of a soul sister of mine. And yeah, she did it as a gift.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us, because everyone loved our last video and you're so talented. We've got a list of questions, if that's all right, Janine.
Yep, I love it.
Obviously, we've been listening to all your latest videos, which have been an absolute wealth of information, and some really good ones. But one of the first questions we had for this week was, can we, the collective we the people, change the course of the outcome and timescales with our collective consciousness? So can we all be doing something positive to be either changing the timescales or the outcome at all? Is that something we should be focusing on?
Okay. That's a great question. So that's like our higher self card.
Oh, wow.
So that would be a very advanced way to use our energy, which of course is wonderful. I mean, I utilize daily intention and vision and vibrating at a certain, hopefully, or try to, at a certain frequency, kind of calling in what I want. That's how I live my life. But that would mean the whole world would have to get on, board with it, really. So psychologically, we'd all have to get to our highest part of ourselves. Psychologically, we'd all have to, yeah. And there's so many people not there yet. So that would be problematic. So we'd have to wake them up. But in time, because this card's about patience and perseverance, this could absolutely work, right? Yeah, but for now, it fails because we need more people working that way. Like, you have to get a little more. I'm thinking that 4 meant 40% might have the right idea, and that's probably generous. But because a lot of people don't, I think we need a little more than that.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
And it doesn't mean we can't, like, daily up the numbers and eventually get there. What the Queen of Pentacles wants to say is, we're getting there. And the more people that learn how to that they're the manifestors and that they're empowered, but there's a lot of people who don't know that. Right? Like, I spent 35 years reading individual clients daily. I'm kind of a weird workaholic, being an ox and a bull. The year of the ox, we love work. Like, work is like, we scratch our heads at people that take too many vacations, which is totally weird, but work is I love it, right? So I loved what I did. So I did it for hours every day, which a lot of readers do not do. That is not normal for a reader. And I would book it up, and I don't anymore. I'm focused on my other things, but I'm just as dedicated to those other things now, right? So I'm just obsessive. And every single day, at least 3/4 of the readings I did I was telling people to love themselves and realize that they're empowered, and start coming into their own, work on manifestation. Like that was like a big part of every reading practically.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's so important, isn't it? And it's just not something that comes naturally to a lot of people anymore, because of the way that we run our society and run our lives. But it's so amazing when you do start opening up to that self potential, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I suppose it's not work either, it's a passion really, more than anything,
right.
Isn't it? Because the 9-to-5 work and the let's work all our lives for a retirement package is just an outdated kind of philosophy, really. So your passion is, you know, admirable. It's wonderful, and it gives people hope, because so many people just have lost their confidence. I'm gobsmacked as to how many people just really don't believe in themselves, and
Yeah.
you know, haven't, I don't know, that either they don't want to share, or they've kind of been beaten down by the system. Catherine and I had an interesting chat yesterday, because the Heart Math Institute in America, so there are all these different random number generators around the world, and when the collective consciousness came together, there were all these random number generators started to actually, you know, generate numbers that were all aligned with each other. Absolutely incredible. And that was the one time that started happening, was the 9/11, whatever you believe about that story. Yeah, that was yeah, the Heart Math Institute. It's fascinating. Absolutely.
That is wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you say the 9/11 story, do you mean what actually is said to have happened, or?
Well, there's so many theories, and scientifically, you know, with an aeroplane going into a building, and
yeah.
But the thing is I think what it did, because the Schumann resonance changed dramatically as well, because everyone globally was focused on the same thing.
Yeah.
The Schumann resonance wasn't necessarily a positive thing, but because there's mass consciousness, was all focused on the same thing at the same time. They could measure that magnetically and through the random number generators. Yeah.
Wow. That is fascinating.
So we've got to keep going, ladies, and just helping one person at a time, and we'll soon reach that critical mass where it's going to have a big impact.
That patience card just keeps coming up.
Yeah. Cool.
Great.
Okay.
And Rachel.
Okay. I'm actually, I don't know what order we were supposed to do these, Catherine. We discussed it before, but okay. So I'm a consultant, contractor, etc. So I was looking at kind of going back to work, but I'm not sure whether, you know, is my time spent, you know, better kind of doing kind of more community things, or is it, you know, do we carry on, go back to work, carry on as we are, kind of thing, in this routine that we've been doing for so long, or is our kind of, should we focus more on kind of the community, the new world that's coming?
Oh, so this is around you personally.
Okay.
And it's are you okay with kind of a personal reading in front of everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's saying you're absolutely towards the 11th hour of doing what you've been doing and how you've been doing it, because this card's the 11th hour, like you're done, and this is the past that brought you there. So it's like this catch-22, sort of the red pill, knowing what's really going on in the world and understanding all of this darkness that maybe you didn't know 5 years ago or whatever, right? I don't know when you woke up to it. I would have woke up to the dark cult sort of officially, like I might have had little rumblings of knowing about it, but not to the extent it was, maybe around March of last year. So this card says, in the past, you woke up to something dark and horrifying, okay, that brought you to the need to completely reinvent yourself and go in a completely different direction. That's still formulating. I think writing might come into it, more public speaking, but writing, because there's something you're sleeping on here that's still formulating. Okay, and it's swords, so thoughts and words. So getting your words out there and your thoughts. So getting information, teaching, getting information out. You're absolutely going to be going in that direction, but it's not all the way formulated. There's still one sword that you have to bring up right? The 4 swords, the one has to come up. And it'll be, I think you'll never go back to exactly how you used to go back to work. That ace and all those 9s and 10s in the reading. So you're moving in a new direction, and it won't make sense to go backwards. That's what I get.
Wow.
And that's likely a lot of us, actually. That's likely a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's this kind of conundrum, isn't it? Do we stay doing what we're doing until the 11th hour of, you know, until all this news comes out, and then we don't know what companies will carry on. We don't know what funding will be available. We don't know. We don't know so much.
That's right.
New world.
And I literally think the next 2 weeks are crucial from the reading I did yesterday and just what I was getting around. Even if it doesn't, there's going to be some kind of a huge incident that'll shift everything, regardless the details. It's been building for a really long time.
Yeah.
And hinted at and moving in that direction. And it feels really imminent.
I would really love to encourage, if anyone watching this video hasn't watched Janine's video from yesterday, it's absolutely brilliant. So please do go and watch that. It's brilliant, Janine.
Thanks.
That's very exciting, Rachel. It's what we thought, isn't it? It's very exciting. So I'm just picking a question we've got. So now we're on that topic, then I'll change the order slightly, Janine. From your video yesterday and the F flag incident that's imminent,
yeah,
for us in the UK, do we need to be making some special preparations?
That's a great question. Because you know that they're already in the States. Where is it? Texas is experiencing a huge outage, power outage, water shortage, just horrifying things already. Not because of that, but something else.
Yes.
So yeah, I wonder where exactly will be the worst. So let's see what we got. We've got the High Priestess. So secret things are going on to end something. Okay, so there's secret plans to end something. Well, that sounds like what I was talking about yesterday. People go watch, and it's been in the works for years, undercurrent. Okay, and we're in the 11th hour before that happens, so it's imminent. That's the feeling I get. See, 9s are just before it turns to a 10 when now it's happened already. Okay, so oh boy. Okay, so we asked about the UK. Yes, you are absolutely going to experience some difficulties. So yes, now we got an A, so yes. So about a week's worth. So plan for about a week's worth. Let's see if it's electricity and water, but I'm definitely getting water around it. And I've been getting that for quite a while. A lot of people are going to experience water issues for some reason. That's
Simon Park said a while ago as well.
Let's see, electricity. And I was getting that too, right around Christmas when I looked at it a couple of days in a row. And that's interesting, water, because that's our emotional body self energetically. So there's clues to that, right? So how we view things emotionally or how we feel about things could really change if our water energy around water is being affected. Okay, so we're looking at electricity. Okay, well, that doesn't look as bad. That looks much better. Yeah, it looks intermittent, and we've got the Fool. We've got some places we're going to experience trouble around it, and some places aren't. Oddly, it looks like more urban. So that would be like cities and congested areas will be better off. And out in the country has a little more trouble.
Okay,
Are you out?
Yeah, it's really worrying because when you've got horses like I have and a lot of my friends have, yeah, okay, that's great. We can be prepared, everyone. Get prepared, Brits.
Intermittent, and the worst thing will be 3 days. So 3 days in a row. And then I feel like there's a little break. So you might get some power again. And this is in the country, less trouble in largely populated areas, oddly, and I'm not sure why that would be. And then you might have another couple of days. So, it doesn't feel like it's weeks or months, like would be really bad. So if you can gather 3 days worth at a time kind of thing, that would be a good idea. Like if there's a way you could get some barrels full of water and
a bath,
right? And
My boss.
Like, what did they do in the Second World War when they ran out of stuff? I mean, we'll have to think, like, because we are in a form of a war, even though it's a silent and or very mysterious type.
And which
it's wartime.
Yeah.
And war has been waged against the human race by this dark energy that we didn't even know we were being, this was being done to us. And now we are aware of it. And there's this energy combating it, that this has been going on for years. We've been in a war for years and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So if we got to put up with 3 to 6 days of getting around some issues, yeah. And I did pull the sun around your horse situation, which is a wonderful card. So, I don't believe, like, karmically we'll attract how much trouble we're going to be in too.
Yeah,
about that, right? It's like, I figure, like Charlie Ward always says, it's going to, like, we're going to be so happy for whatever inconvenience that went on in the last year and a half, because our world changes for the better. And I always find that when hardship happens and you work through it and you just tackle it, like, okay, what am I learning from this? And stay in a good open, okay, whatever's going on, we're going to get through this. We're going to be the better for it. What happens is way better things. Like every little time in my life when I was up against the wall, I grew so much and I way better. My world changed for the better every time. So I figured this will be one of those moments for the whole world.
Yeah.
I think that's true. You really appreciate, don't you, what you've got. When things like this happen, it really makes you appreciate the things that are really important in your life. So that's such a true and positive message. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's always a silver lining to every cloud.
Yeah. And trusting the universe. Like, I don't put my trust in humans per se. Not that I love my peoples but I don't waste my time putting, like, I don't wait for anybody to do anything for me. I'm super independent that way. But what I do trust is my higher self never has failed me since I was a little girl. And I was brought up in a really repressive Catholic, lovely. My parents are really kind, good people, but they're super Catholic. You know what I mean? And I was not really, I knew somehow that somehow on some level that wasn't for me. I was like, okay, something's weird about that. But I always trusted my intuition and my higher self. And I think if everybody starts practicing trusting that the universe will take care of them, because everything's getting righted, and don't fall into fear, even if things are hard, try to look at it as an adventure.
Yeah.
And definitely help other people's. So instead of like pulling together in fear and trying to ward against your own discomfort, help others, and trust me, that'll actually work to your benefit. Like, help your community, get in there and just help. Just as if you had we had a big flood in Calgary in 2013, and the communities came together, and amazing things got accomplished. It was actually some of the best days and weeks after the flood of Calgary's community spirit ever. I got to know my neighbors like I never saw such kindness, and we'll probably experience that if this thing actually happens. Humans, when they're put in that kind of position, they so come together. It's probably could be some of the best experiences some of us ever have. Like, to see people at their very best, most compassionate and kind is going to be amazing. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Like, not for the harm of others. I'm not looking forward to that. That'll be unfortunate, but I'm looking forward to the shift that comes afterwards and the kindness that we're going to get to express.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, it's, you need to have that huge energy clearing, don't we, to move things on now. Amazing. Thank you.
And there's an abundance, isn't there, of information. Everyone has that little piece that they can bring together, and that hardship. And that's one of the good things I think about, all this COVID nonsense is, people have started knocking on each other's, next door neighbours, and so many people in, built up cities, they don't even know their next door neighbour or the same building, you know, that they live in, and Catherine and I are middle of nowhere.
Yeah. The only time I ever talked to I live in a duplex. So you know what that is? Side by side houses. The only time I ever talked to my neighbor, who's a very private fellow, singular fellow, lives alone as far as I know. Nice enough person, you know, no worries. But the only time I was thinking I was having a flood in my house, and I had to knock on his door really late at night because I was in a panic and I didn't know what else to do. And he came right over and completely solved my problem, which actually wasn't a problem. It was hilarious. What was really the matter? It was completely ridiculous and making me look like a complete fool, by the way, but absolutely the kindest guy, and never made me feel bad about. I wake him up, I get him over there, and he solves my problem in a second. It was like as simple as, you know, clicking something. Anyway, so funny. But yeah, that's my experience with my neighbor. Like trust, like if you're a loving person and you're doing things from the goodness of your heart, like I know that I have that intention. At least I might not always get it right, but I certainly have the intention. So if you trust that that's what you're doing in life and you're putting your foot forward like that, you will absolutely get the rewards for that by loving gestures coming your way. It always happens.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Things will be okay. If you're okay with yourself, things will come your way. Your animals will be okay.
You are, Catherine.
Yeah.
Your horses will be fine.
Absolutely.
She has a myriad of animals.
Cover my guinea pigs if they can't have their heat lamp. Yeah. Right. Oh, I love my guinea pigs so much. Yeah, they're amazing.
Get a big woolly blanket and let them huddle under it.
Exactly.
Oh, they've got little dens. It's the cutest little setup ever.
They are the best things. If everyone dressed up like a guinea pig, there would never be a war again.
That's so cute.
Okay. On the royal family in the UK.
Oh yeah.
So I was just wondering, because I know that Trump came to an agreement that, you know, that the name would not be slandered if they, I think, worked with the White Hats.
Yeah.
We're just wondering whether, you know, so the question, let me go back to disclosure of the royal family to the masses. Will it actually happen, and when?
Okay. So I'll just say in the past, I will look at it again, and I've really looked at that. And I did get that. So the Queen did come to an arrangement that she would allow herself to be taken out of the scene, which you can see in the headlines that they're arranging to do that. Prince Philip, as far as I got last Christmas, left the earth plane, and likely in a dishonorable way. So similar to George W. Bush. Anyway, that's what I got. And I got that the Queen was making these arrangements because she was trying to get her name carried on and at least some semblance of the royals going forward in William and Kate. But William wasn't cooperating, and at first was. So when we first looked at it, he was even moving over and maybe going to be a better person for it. So going along with Trump's wishes, sort of, or the deal that was made. And then he's since flipped. And that's why we're really not seeing him in the picture. Because I don't know, have you guys been seeing him much out and about? William, not Kate's been more out and about.
Yeah.
And I was even getting that Kate was more trying to hold that promise, but William stepped back into the dark. That's what I was getting. So and then now he's in really big trouble. So it's very crazy because I look at those guys a lot. So let's have a look right now at your question, which is, will there be the reveal of what they've been up to?
Yeah. The naughties.
Yeah. And you can see, like, I've been watching the headlines in the UK, people send them to me all the time. And it looks like they're preparing because they're saying the Queen's going to be the last royal. And
Yeah.
so they've got all these stories out there to prepare everybody. It's so obvious what they're up to. Like, why would that be right out of the blue? All of a sudden they're saying that, like, what? Really?
And Prince Philip went into hospital yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay. First thing we get is the judgment card. So they're being put under judgment. So they're in some kind of, this is a wake up call card. See, the people are being woken from the dead. Okay, and you asked about reveal. There's a really big chance, it's right on the fence whether people will be woken up from their slumber about who these people really are. It's still up in the air because this card says we'll have to wait. That's the Hanged Man. So that's still being discussed. So the past. So they did come to some kind of an agreement in the past, and a lot of it has to do with substances.
Oh, yes.
Created. Okay, so this card can be about abuse of substances, partying ways. It's not good with the judgment card right underneath it, and so it's all about how they're aspected. So this is a card about they've been playing and partying for lifetimes in a bad way. Okay, and even like connected to substances that are addictive. Okay, so I'm thinking the scary ones that start with A. Also, they've been in this is my deep state dark cult, of course, and they're actually one of the most important families in it is your royal family. They're apparently, according to Juan Osaban anyway, he says they're one of the biggest. There's one French family above them. Okay, so, and they've stepped away from, so one of the young males in particular, or maybe both the young males, so that could even be Harry and William, have stepped away, and this is like a leaving something, like this is not good. Okay, this is not, so have gone back to or done things that are for their own good and saving their own hide, so not for the good of. So I think the deal's off the table because of that, maybe. Yeah. So they'll come to judgment. So they'll be judged in public.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to hear about it.
I think it's the hardest red pill, isn't it, really, for so many. I mean, not just in the UK, it's around the whole world. My mother will not accept the fact that, you know, the royal family are naughty.
Surrender to the person that stepped away from the agreement and ruined everything was William.
Wow.
But you know, if you think about it, if he has been indoctrined since birth and groomed, and who knows what happens with that kind of stuff, he may just find it too hard to his goodness has been taken away from him. If there was it to begin with, it wouldn't last through satanic ritual abuse, which they even do to their own, remember?
Yeah.
Good for them, they think. And the kind of indoctrination and even brainwashing that happens, you know, that shuts them off from their original humanness.
Yeah.
Goes on. So I feel like, and I'm not making excuses, I'm just saying, it would be a hard one to go along with. And even if the Queen sort of set it up, because what I was getting was she set things up. So if she would agree to be taken away, and I don't even know if she's still on the earth plane, and Prince Philip, he got taken care of because he was really old. And I know I'm not saying, you know, that makes it okay, but there's so much deep darkness on his, what he was up to. I mean, she was too, but the Queen Elizabeth's, like, they're horrifying. You should hear the accounts of people abused by them personally. There's several people have made detailed accounts of what both of those two as a couple would do to children. It's absolutely horrifying. You can't even fathom. And yeah, they would get lent to the, like, because people would try to get in favor of really high ups in this cult. So they would lend their children, if they were in a family line that was, could get that close to them, they would lend their children for a week at a time to this couple. It's just horrifying.
And as you say, if you'd grown that, so no wonder they had to get Diana away from William and Harry, because,
Yeah, to be able to even do that.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys heard the rumor that Diana's still alive?
Oh, yes. I'm sure she is.
She's cloaked, though. Energetically, she's cloaked. So
yeah,
whatever reading you do on her, and I think so many people have, that there's this anonymity.
She is very chatty. Like, I've channeled her quite a few times, and you can channel a person even if they're alive, like you're channeling their higher self. So, and she never, but she wanted us to believe when I originally channeled her that she was put to death. But I mean, I think it's because she was trying to out what the plan was, maybe, if she is still alive. And I plan to do so that there was that psychic, that quite known psychic, Oxtava.
Sava, yes.
Oh yeah, and I never say her name right, and I apologize to her for that. But I have a hard time with words sometimes. But that woman, she's done several readings with several different people where she's saying that she's actually the partner of Trump, which is fascinating. And but I always did get, even back in the day before I was red pilled about Trump, because I was like watching CNN and believed that silliness until I woke up. But I would do readings on Melania and Trump's marriage, and I always saw that it was an arrangement. So that part, she got absolutely right, that according to my cards as well. And I always thought she would divorce him. And this is what she said: she's divorced him. And I even got 4 years that she would stay right up until the end of the first term, which is exactly what the psychic was saying. And so who's to say the rest of her information isn't right on? You know what I mean? She's a dead on, most of the things that come out her mouth have been proven to be correct. So it's like, whoa.
I know.
I'm going to look at it.
Kelly spoke to her last week, and she was saying that again. I was like, oh my god. Yeah,
I'm looking at it tonight when I read, and for my tomorrow reading. But that'll be that and the rumors around Prince Philip and what's going on. We're going to look all around that. So
wonderful! How exciting!
Energetically, I think she is. I think she is still here. But it would just be the worst thing in the world for her to come out now, because there isn't enough goodness in the world. If it is only 40% of people that are awake, I mean, the F flag that you were talking about, it would either be that kind of scenario, or it would be Diana coming out. Those.
Right. And JFK too.
Yeah.
They're saying, like, several really prominent truthers are saying he's like, they're like, without any doubts in their voice, and they're no joking around, they're saying he's absolutely coming out. And I did get that he would come out and speak on Trump's behalf. But they're saying he's actually going to run for, like, when this new government comes into the States, he's going to be the second guy in command or whatever. So it's like, wow.
Yeah.
That would shift everything, I think, for if they weren't buying the Diana story, the JFK would just seal the deal. I think it would be crazy.
Biggest red pill for everyone, and it would just unite the world in such a positive, amazing energy of hope, wouldn't it? So, yeah.
And they could divulge all the things around what people said about their death and actually what was going on.
Absolutely.
It would be fascinating.
It would just be amazing. It's just incredible. And nothing would surprise me now at all. Nothing. So yeah, it's exciting times ahead. That's fantastic. So how are you doing for time, Janine? Have you got time for one more question or not?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Woohoo! We've got loads of questions. We've got 9.
Right, let's have a vote on it. Rachel, I would vote for the vaccine one.
Are we doing one more or 2 more?
We can do 2.
Okay.
You guys have time. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we love you.
So my question then is going to be, I'll let you do the vaccine one, Joe. That's because that's yours. Okay, so I'll do the in the UK, it's just going to happen on whatever it's called, the financial reset, and also have we got any idea about timescales? Good financial reset. Yeah.
Oh, we got the judgment card again. Okay, I got a shuffle again. Because they're exactly the same card, so I must have had it. That doesn't make sense. So this is not a good financial reset in the UK. Moving out of troubled water. Temperance, so over the next, that could be months. So some kind of good news around it. And this is in the past that leads to this. So this one's interesting. So some kind of a big, kind of what I was talking about yesterday on the FF thing. Okay, something like that, maybe what would have to happen. So there has to be either Diana steps out and JFK, or yeah, some big, this is a quantum shift at its best. At its worst, it's a very traumatic event. Okay, so, but it can also be an awareness shift for humanity, because it is under 2 really good cards. So that's when you call it well aspected. So many people fear this card, but if it's well aspected, so 2 cards underneath it that are really positive, both of these are really good. Okay, then it's talking, now you have to read it in a positive way, which is where a lot of readers, I taught tarot for 30 years and still do. And a lot of readers, they forget to think about that. The aspecting is 100% can change the meaning of your card. Okay, so now you read that in the best possible way, which would be a revelation. So some kind of occurrence happens that the world wakes up and there's a revelation. Okay, and that's what moves it over the next few months into your question, which is absolutely a yes. Okay, because this is about abundance and finance and family members and like kind of money for all, which I know just Sarah and Miss Sarah is about. And it even takes the focus off of like a sort of the dog eat dog. Let's just get ahead of our neighbor and let's, like the rat race, and not in the way that, the bad version of communism talks about. It's not like that. It's more like if everybody could just relax and not have to be in survival mode, it could really help the creativity of others. It could bring out the most generous in others. It could just let everybody have a chance, right? And that card, when it's really well aspected with all of these others, is about everybody's getting some. So that sounds like Jasara Nasara, because if we didn't have to pay taxes in the same way, and it was like, there's likely a way they're going to adjust things so a more legal, because it's been illegal the way they've created the taxes, way to keep roads repaired, and like things are going to be adjusted. So I don't think we won't ever have to pay into our communities again. I think there's going to be a way that they're going to have to figure out how to do that. But it's going to be, I think, more abundance for all around. And if all the credit card companies have been illegally, the way they're set up, it's apparently illegal, and the way mortgages are set up has been illegal. And really, if all of those dropped and you didn't have to pay your mortgage, oh my goodness, that could really help. Right? You wouldn't be just trying to survive.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say yes.
Guinea pigs. And also the great thing is when I have that abundance, I'll be able to look after all the Queen's corgis.
Good for you.
Don't worry about the corgis, guys. They'll be safe. Yeah.
You better smudge them though and get that energy off that they've been hanging out in.
You should
Or
see,
if they're really dogs.
you should see the size of my sage bushes. I've got big sage bushes. Oh,
Okay.
wow, amazing. Right, last one for you then, because poor Janine, we've taken up so much time. That was brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so magical, isn't it? It's just so lovely to come together and find out more truth. But that was 2 months, wasn't it, roundabouts?
Yeah, in the next. So over there, so temperance says over time, and there's a 2, so there's 2 cups in there, so I go with 2. And the reason I sped it up, because it could be 2 years with that card, but it had a sword card before it, which was the 6 of swords, which is about a shift coming quickly. So then you got to look at those 2, because how they're aspecting quickened up that 2.
Yeah.
Right.
But it wants to say, so it doesn't happen overnight with that temperance, but something dramatic happens that shifts it all into place, which sounds a lot like what I was getting yesterday. Unfortunately, there could be an event that has to happen first that's a bit disarming and sort of blows up all the systems. Because think about it, for sure the banking system, they're saying they're making it crash. They're going to make the stock market crash, but that felt like that wouldn't last long, weirdly, and it would shake it out a little, and it recreates itself. What I've been getting around that is it recreates itself into a tool that actually works instead of just pillages all the poor folks and everybody way up at the tops just fooling us and making all the money on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, the 3GD, there's also all the Bitcoin and everything, but then, you know, repercussions from it, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Amazing. Right. On the V instrument that they're poisoning people with, and there are different ones in the UK, but when Boris came in front of the cameras, and I know that they have, in their, I suppose, the nefarious ways, they have to tell people the truth. So it was told to the UK that they had to keep this V under 70 degrees C because of the virus. So, and I was just thinking, did he actually just really say that? So people that have had it, my question would be, do we have to be careful of them? Have they been actually V'd with the virus, the C19? And do we
had the cure.
Yeah, the cure.
Be the cure, even though, of course, it isn't a cure.
Yeah.
But people who have had it, are they actually getting it given to them? Is that what you're asking?
And will they then shed it and spread it around?
Yeah.
No. Now, this is really weird. It looks like we got the Wheel of Fortune in the past.
Okay.
It's around the whole cure. Okay. And the balance card. So something went into place or is in place that actually saves people from themselves if they end up getting it. There's something about it that could eliminate the evils that it's doing. Something's in place that's going to eliminate whatever harm it does, or cancels out the harm. I wonder what that is. Because the outcome is people are going to be okay. So it feels like this is a wonderful card. This is one of the best cards. So to celebrate. So maybe that's even a big event that stops the whole thing from even going forward. And then they're saying that med beds can reverse the harm that it does, but there's something that's going to cancel it out, or there's a known thing that cancels it out that becomes known. And so the thing itself, so it's absolutely, so the Wheel of Fortune, everything we're hearing and all the fears we have around it could get flipped, and it could be the exact opposite. So it's not as dangerous, let's say that, as we think it is. And there's something already going on. And you'd think this would have been true, because don't forget that the White Hat Alliance knew they were doing the whole plan all along, and they used the whole rollout of the illness. They used it to their advantage to clean out the dumbs. Now, apparently they've been cleaning them out for years, but it was going really slow. So they used this time so they could do way more of their work. But they must have had something going forward that would cancel out when it was all kinds of rumors about the 5G towers. So they're actually a positive, not a negative. I don't know what it is. I'm telling you what it is, but it's saying don't fear it because the opposite's going to happen. We're going to get eventually into better health. And Charlie's been saying this too. So I wonder how that happens. But sometimes when you don't get it really clearly, you just get it all worked out. I just skip that.
Yeah, because it's probably not a good idea that, that perhaps the details are public knowledge at the moment.
Yeah, it feels like there's something, and I'm not trying to go, okay, just blind faith in some white hats. We don't even know who they are. But I'm saying the universe has got this, and that we are good, intending, and beautiful souls, sovereign beings, part of universal love light. We're not going to get handled like this. They're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
There's things combating it, and they're way bigger because there's all these major arcana cards. We had 3 in a row here, the 3. So we had the Wheel of Fortune. So it's different than it appears, and expect the unexpected. So unexpected changes, or something's been unexpectedly changed to balance it. That's a balancing, especially when it's well aspected, and it is well aspected because the outcome was the sun. So the outcome is really good for us. And something about sunlight, and something about, I got this before. Remember the talk about this, that second sun source? I did a reading just before Christmas, and I got weirdly, when everybody was talking about December 21st, remember?
Yes.
I got that there's going to be this second sun that's hiding somewhere behind the first sun. And something from its light is really healing and incredibly powerful. And this is the outcome card. So something about we're going to be healed by sunlight. And I've also got that before. So they've been telling us that the sun is dangerous and sunlight is dangerous. And I'm not sure that's true. Other things might cause and they end up blaming on sun rays, which never made sense to me. Never made sense that the sun, because I know how healing it can be. Not an over, like sitting in it all day long or whatever, but a little bit of sun is good for everybody. And we've been told for years now that there's something wrong with our sun, like something about it's harming us, causing cancer. The whole cancer thing is very suspicious to me. What's really causing it?
Yeah.
They've got the patents for cancer though, so it's created, and yeah, we've all got our weakest link. But there were I can't remember where I heard it from, but that we've had our sun, they've taken it away basically, or the way in which it actually penetrates through our atmosphere and creates that healing that we should have. I mean, vitamin D3 you talk about, vitamin D is from the sunshine. And when Catherine and I popped to California and we hired a red Mustang for the day, we went and put coconut oil all over ourselves and laid in the sun for half an hour.
Yeah,
completely.
I have a feeling maybe they have done something with our atmosphere, because we know they can change things like that. But I have a feeling maybe what I mean by this, there's a second sun, is that we actually, that gets taken away, because if they're taking down the deep state, all of their stuff is going down too, right?
Yes.
So maybe we do get the healing benefits of the sun. So in a way, it's like a second sun, because we get it back again, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Wow. That was so good, Janine. As always, absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you everyone who's going to be watching this. And please do, all the links to Janine's channels and my channel will be below. So please do like and share if you feel called to. Thank you so much for being so generous for your time. I feel really, really uplifted now. So that's fantastic end to the day for us over here in the UK.
Absolutely, and we love the panther behind you. Utterly divine.
Just stunning.
He's getting famous, my panther.
Yeah, is it very?
Just like you.
Awesome.
Take care, lovely. Really look forward to speaking to you next week. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, ladies.